Within the marble corridors of the Vatican, the atmosphere was electric yet hushed. The announcement of Cardinal Sarah's return set in motion a silent revolution, one not broadcast by headlines, but felt deeply among insiders. Staff members spoke of late-night meetings and confidential briefings. There was talk of restructured dicasteries and renewed liturgical commissions. Consultations with bishops from diverse continents were underway, seeking balance between unity and legitimate diversity. The shift wasn't just theological, but practical. Many Vatican officials recognized that the Church's challenges extended beyond doctrine. Declining mass attendance in Europe, rising secularism, and cultural fragmentation required a pastoral approach rooted in clarity and courage. Cardinal Sarah, though absent from the limelight for several years, brought with him decades of pastoral wisdom. His experience as a missionary bishop, his ascetic discipline, and his profound theological insights offered the Vatican a steady hand during turbulent times, yet his return also sparked questions. How would his firm stances mesh with Pope Leo's more pastoral and inclusive tone? Was this a reconciliation or a strategic balancing act? Some saw the appointment as a beacon of hope, others as a harbinger of internal tension. What was clear, however, was that the Church was preparing to speak with renewed conviction, one that neither feared tradition nor dismissed progress. Cardinal Robert Sarah's journey back to the Vatican stage was not merely a personal comeback, but a carefully nuanced gesture by Pope Leo XIV. It symbolized a bridge, one spanning the gap between the Church's ancient heritage and the demands of the contemporary world. For many Catholics worldwide, especially in the Global South regions where the faith continues to flourish with zeal, the appointment resonated deeply. In Africa, Asia, and Latin America, where tradition often remains vibrant, Cardinal Sarah's voice had always been a source of inspiration and affirmation. His African heritage added another layer to his significance. Born in Guinea, Sarah's faith was forged in a context of missionary struggle, cultural richness, and often political unrest. His life story embodied resilience and fidelity, virtues the Church desperately needed amidst a world in flux. By reintegrating him into a central role, Pope Leo sent a subtle but clear message. The Church's future cannot ignore its diverse roots, nor its rich theological tradition. It is in this tension between memory and mission that the Church finds its true identity. The Vatican's initial press release was sparse, intentionally cryptic. No official title accompanied Cardinal Sarah's appointment, fueling speculation among journalists, theologians, and faithful alike. This silence, paradoxically, spoke volumes. It suggested a role so significant that conventional labels could not capture its essence. Insiders whispered of a position that would influence liturgical norms, doctrinal clarity, and pastoral outreach, without the usual bureaucratic trappings. Some suggested a revived or reimagined office within the Holy See, dedicated to safeguarding tradition while engaging modern realities. Others speculated on a special advisory role, one tasked with shaping global church policy under the new pontificate. Whatever the specifics, one truth was unmistakable. Cardinal Sarah's return was not symbolic. It was active, intentional, and charged with purpose. Behind the quiet stone walls of the Vatican, preparations were underway. Strategies were being crafted to heal divisions, foster unity, and renew the Church's mission, all while honoring the sacred mystery at its heart. In the world of Vatican announcements, silence can be as powerful as words. The sparseness of the statement about Cardinal Sarah's return was deliberate, a signal that something profound was unfolding beneath the surface. In an era dominated by media noise and instant commentary, the Church chose restraint. It invited the faithful and observers to listen carefully, to reflect deeply, and to wait for the full picture to emerge. This approach aligned perfectly with Cardinal Sarah's own spiritual ethos. Known for his quiet dignity, his preference for reverence over rhetoric, Sarah embodied a form of leadership grounded in humility and prayer. His influence was never about commanding attention through spectacle, but about shaping hearts through example. This return, therefore, was less about public fanfare and more about spiritual renewal, an invitation to rediscover the sacred amidst the chaos. Cardinal Sarah's reappointment came at a critical juncture. The Catholic Church faces complex challenges, from internal debates about doctrine and liturgy to external pressures like secularization and societal shifts. His presence signals an intention to confront these realities, not with division, but with conviction. Yet the path forward would not be easy. Bridging the gap between tradition and reform requires dialogue, patience, and courage. Cardinal Sarah's known firmness might stir controversy, but it also promised clarity and strength. For Pope Leo XIV, balancing this dynamic was a delicate task, fostering an inclusive church that embraces diversity without losing its foundational truths. The coming months would reveal how this renewed partnership shapes the Church's direction, whether it can bring healing and unity or deepen existing fractures. For nearly a decade, Cardinal Robert Sarah had lived on the periphery of Vatican power. His influence diminished as the Church embraced more progressive directions. His retreat was not an abdication but a quiet endurance, continuing to preach, teach, and pray beyond the spotlight. Yet, even from the margins, his voice remained distinct. A voice rooted deeply in Scripture, tradition, and the sacred mysteries that form the core of Catholic identity. Now, with Pope Leo XIV's unexpected move, Sarah's role shifted from observer to active participant in shaping the Church's future. This return underscored that sometimes those once sidelined hold the wisdom needed for renewal. His presence at the heart of the Vatican reminded many that history often moves in cycles, where old truths are rediscovered and integrated into new contexts. At the heart of this story is the concept of tradition, not as a relic frozen in time, but as a living, breathing reality that shapes and sustains faith. Cardinal Sarah has long championed this vision, that the Church must remain faithful to its roots while engaging the present world with courage and clarity. His writings and homilies emphasize that tradition is not an obstacle to progress, but its foundation. It nurtures identity, offers continuity, and provides spiritual depth in an age of rapid change. In his return, this vision gains renewed energy, a call to embrace the sacred mysteries, to honor the Eucharist, and to live out faith with reverence and conviction. Pope Leo XIV's decision reflects a desire to renew the Church, not by erasing its past, but by inviting all believers into a deeper encounter with its enduring truths. Cardinal Robert Sarah's return marks more than a personal revival. It ushers in a new chapter of dialogue within the Church. Pope Leo XIV seems determined to foster a space where contrasting voices can coexist, not in conflict, but in conversation. This approach challenges the polarized narratives that have often dominated Church discourse. Instead of framing tradition and reform as opposing camps, this new chapter invites believers to explore how these dimensions can enrich one another. For many Catholics worldwide, this signals hope. A hope that the Church can navigate change without losing its soul, can embrace diversity without fracturing its unity. Cardinal Sarah's voice, once seen as resistant, now serves as a vital interlocutor, reminding all that faith rooted in tradition can powerfully engage the present. While much attention focuses on the Vatican, Cardinal Sarah's influence extends far beyond Rome's ancient stones. Across continents, in vibrant African communities, in European cathedrals, in Latin American parishes, his message resonates deeply. His call to fidelity, reverence, and spiritual depth finds eager listeners amid the faithful. His return to a prominent role reaffirms the global nature of the Catholic Church, one that respects local cultures yet remains united in core beliefs. This appointment reassures many that the Church honors its diverse expressions while maintaining a common sacred foundation. It also challenges Catholics everywhere to reflect on how tradition and renewal coexist in their own lives and communities. Cardinal Robert Sarah's journey reflects the delicate balance the Catholic Church strives to maintain between honoring its rich traditions and embracing necessary reforms. While many see these as opposing forces, his return under Pope Leo XIV's leadership suggests a new paradigm, one that values continuity and adaptation as complementary, not contradictory. This balance is crucial as the Church confronts contemporary challenges, secularization, cultural shifts, and questions about its role in modern society. by integrating Sarah's steadfast commitment to tradition with Pope Leo's pastoral and reformist vision. The Church aims to create a path forward that is both rooted and responsive. This approach invites Catholics to cherish their heritage while engaging confidently with the present and future. Beyond the practicalities of his new role, Cardinal Sarah's reappointment carries rich symbolism. His African heritage, ascetic lifestyle, and theological clarity represent a church that is universal, humble, and deeply spiritual. His return underscores Pope Leo XIV's commitment to inclusivity, not just in language and outreach, but in leadership that reflects the global church's diversity. It signals that leadership grounded in spiritual depth and tradition is essential for the church's vitality. This symbolism inspires many faithful, especially in regions where the church continues to grow rapidly, reinforcing the message that the Catholic faith transcends geography and culture. Cardinal Sarah's return is not without controversy. His firm stances on liturgy, doctrine, and moral teaching have often clashed with more progressive currents within the church. Some see him as a guardian of orthodoxy, while others view his presence as a potential obstacle to reform. This tension highlights the ongoing struggle within Catholicism to define its identity in a rapidly changing world. Yet, Pope Leo XIV's decision to re-engage Sarah suggests a recognition that honest debate and diversity of perspectives are vital for a healthy church. Rather than silencing dissent, the church is choosing to channel it constructively, seeking unity not by uniformity, but through respectful dialogue rooted in shared faith. This delicate navigation between tradition and change will shape the church's trajectory in the years to come. At the heart of Cardinal Sarah's theology is the profound mystery of the Eucharist, the real presence of Christ in the bread and wine. He teaches that the church itself is sanctified and transformed through this sacred mystery, grounding all renewal in the intimate encounter with Christ. This emphasis on the Eucharist as a source of holiness and unity offers a powerful spiritual foundation for the Church's journey forward. In a world often marked by division and distraction, the Eucharist becomes a wellspring of peace, strength, and transformation. Cardinal Sarah's renewed role may well center on deepening this understanding, inviting the faithful to rediscover the centrality of the sacred meal in their lives. Cardinal Robert Sarah's African heritage is more than a biographical detail. It is a profound connection to one of the fastest-growing regions of Catholicism, the Global South. In Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia, the Church is expanding rapidly, fueled by vibrant faith communities that often hold deeply traditional views. Sarah's presence in Vatican leadership signals recognition of these communities and their importance in the Church's future. He embodies a bridge between Rome's ancient traditions and the lived faith of millions around the world who seek a church that remains true to its roots while speaking to their realities. This dynamic is reshaping the global church and influencing how faith is expressed, taught, and celebrated. Despite his prominence, Cardinal Sarah's approach has always been marked by humility and ascetic simplicity. He avoids the limelight, preferring to let his actions, writings, and prayerful presence speak for themselves. This quiet power contrasts sharply with the often theatrical nature of modern leadership. It is a reminder that true spiritual authority is rooted not in spectacle, but in faithfulness, reverence, and service. As Pope Leo XIV restores Sarah to a position of influence, it is a call to the Church to embrace these values amid the noise of contemporary life. The gentle strength of humility may be precisely what the Church needs in this era of transformation. Cardinal Robert Sarah's return to prominence under Pope Leo XIV is not merely a personnel change, it signals a new dawn for the Catholic Church. In a time marked by rapid change, uncertainty, and division, the Church is seeking a path that honors its sacred traditions while engaging meaningfully with the modern world. Sarah's steadfast faith, rooted in reverence for the Eucharist and ancient liturgy, reminds Catholics that true progress is never a break from the past, but a deepening of it. His quiet presence, far from signaling resistance, embodies a call to thoughtful renewal, one grounded in conviction, dialogue, and unity. As the Church steps into this new chapter, much remains uncertain. The specific role Cardinal Sarah will play is still unfolding, and the challenges before the Church are many. But the appointment reveals a profound truth, that transformation begins not with noise, but with silence, not with division, but with listening. Pope Leo XIV's choice to re-engage a figure like Sarah shows a willingness to embrace complexity, to welcome diverse voices, and to seek harmony amid difference. For the faithful around the world, this moment invites renewed hope. Hope for a church that is both ancient and alive, rooted yet evolving, humble yet confident. In the sacred mystery of the Eucharist, in the real presence of Christ, the church finds its source, and in that source, its future. Thank you so much for joining us today on Southern Sound, where the heart of Southern Gospel beats strong and true. If this story touched your soul, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a moment of the music and message that moves us all. Until next time, keep the faith alive, keep the music playing, and may God's peace and blessings be with you always. God bless, and we'll see you in the next video.